So hey guys, it's your girl Yum and I'm coming to you live from the spot. Today I'm going to talk about that hospital check-in. Yeah, that hospital check-in when I was about to have my baby. So stay tuned and we're going to get into it in just a second. Now listen. Okay, on the way to the hospital was only like 8 or 9 minutes. It was an 8-minute ride from my house to the hospital. That was the longest 8 minutes of my life. Those were the longest 8 minutes of my life. It was so uncomfortable because of my contractions. I was telling my husband, stop. I was like, stop driving so fast. And then it was extra bumpy. I don't know what. And then we took like this back road. I'm like, what? It was terrible. I told him, I was like, slow down, just slow all the way down, just go 5 miles an hour. So it probably took us like 15 minutes to get there. So we finally get to the hospital and I'm like, man, I really didn't want to come here yet. Anyway, I get in there and all the while, so my water broke in the shower like a couple of hours ago, but all the water, I guess, hadn't broke, or I don't know how you want to say that, but there was still like water that was like still coming out. So that was weird because I never had that happen in my first 2 pregnancies. So they checked me in and they didn't really know what was going on at the time. But then when I was sitting on a wheelchair, water was still coming out. So they told me to get up because they were going to check me. And then when I stood up for the wheelchair and they saw the water on the chair, they're like, "Oh, her water broke. Oh, we gotta check. We gotta admit you." And I was like,
because I was hoping they were gonna send me back home. But anyway.
So they admit me and they're like, okay, they check me and they're like, "Oh, you're 4 centimeters dilated. You should." It was like 8 a.m. at that time. It's like between 8 and 9 a.m. It's like, yeah, your baby should be here by noon. Your baby will be here by 12. I was like, hey, awesome, let's do this. So they give me, checked in, blah, 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 blah. And then they take me to the room, I think. And so get me all, do whatever they do. And I'm like, look, I want to be able to walk around. I want to be able to do what I need to do. Don't restrict me. So they gave me I don't even know what it's called. But anyway, I was able to like get out the bed and like walk around, use the bathroom. I had to use the bathroom like every 5 minutes. It was not. And then the water was still coming out. It was a lot of water. It was still coming out. So, so I like literally like it was. It wasn't every 5 minutes. It's probably at least once an hour. I had to get up and go to the bathroom. So I would get up, roll that little thing. I don't know what it's called. Roll that little thing and go to the bathroom. And it was painful. Gosh. Bending down was, because it's like bending down would like prompt a contraction. I don't know. It was weird. And so, so I had to do that. So I'm there. It's 9 rolls to 10 rolls to 11. And then I can really feel in my stomach that really nothing is like happening. There's like no movement. I was still having contraction, but nothing was happening. So I knew like no progress was being made. So 11 turns to 12 and I'm like, oh no, this is not good. No progress is being made. It's 12 o'clock. I thought I had this baby by now because I was hoping that I would have a repeat of my second pregnancy. So when 12 o'clock didn't happen, they're like, well, probably by 6 or no, I think they said 3. So I'm like, okay, well, let's go. So I was feeling pretty discouraged. So 12 turns to 1 and then 1 turns to 2 and 2 turns to 3 and still nothing. And at this point, I'm like, And so then the nurses are starting to say like, okay, well, do you want to have some kind of intervention? And I didn't want any intervention. So I said, well, I politely said, yeah, not at this time. Let's keep watching it. Let's keep working on it. And so 3 o'clock turned to 4, and then 4 o'clock turned to 5, and then 5 turned to 6. And I'm like, okay. And then at that point, there was a shift change with the nurse. And so she's like, well, I'll have to hand you over to the next nurse, and I hope everything works out for you. Maybe by 9 o'clock you'll have this baby. It was starting to get intense, and I was obviously feeling discouraged. They checked me a couple of times, and they're like, yeah, you're still about 4, or maybe I got to 6 centimeters. I can't even remember. But really, like, I knew I could feel it, that nothing was happening. So I was starting to really feel discouraged. So I'll talk about in my next video how that night went down. Because that night was very interesting. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, leave a comment in the comment section, and share the video. All right, guys. Bye.